Diamond Cut.
On 6 Degrees and Beyond, and I'm here with a Rattler, cousin of my best friend James Coleman III. She is Elexia Coleman-Moss, Executive Director of Empowerment Resources Incorporated. How you doing, Elexia?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on the show.
That's cool. Not a problem. I'm glad you're here. I'm an old man. I'm 49 years old, so. I didn't know till late this weekend on going on social media that it's National Daughters Day or National Daughters Weekend. So wanted to give a shout out to my daughter, Serena Faye Jordan. But I think that's an appropriate segue because your nonprofit is all about women's empowerment, correct?
Yeah, so we have 3 programs, and one of the programs is about girl empowerment, and our other program is about families, and the third one is for males and females. But we certainly are all about women and girl empowerment. Okay,
that's great. Now, you're a Rattler, as I stated earlier. What was your program when you were at FAMU?
Yeah, so I went to Florida A&M University. I thought I was going to be a journalism major, and I was in a summer journalism program my senior year of high school. And then once I got there and I love the journalism program, by the way, and I still wrote for the FAMUN. But once I got accepted to FAM and I got introduced to the psychology department, I quickly changed my major.
Okay. That's dope. I am a product of the J School, School of Journalism, Media, and Graphic Arts. I have a bachelor's in broadcast journalism from Florida A&M. I also wrote for the FAMUN. That's one thing we have in common. I also DJ'd at WAMF 90.5 FM, which is now called WANM. But I also DJ'd at WANM 1070 AM, which is on Tennessee Street. In the round Holiday Inn, or it used to be. Now I think it's CNN Radio, if it still even exists. And I also started live on the set, infotainment show. You remember on the set. So cool. So you say you changed to psychology?
Yeah, I did. I was really intrigued about human behavior and the mind, and then bonus at FAMU for Black psychology and just, really learning about Black culture.
Have you ever had Dr. Baldwin?
Yes, I had Dr. Baldwin. Who did not have Dr. Baldwin? One of my favorite stories about Dr. Baldwin, freshman year. So ironically, I always loved anything about Egypt, and I got introduced to that in the 6th grade from Dr. McGowan, middle school. And I guess I really didn't back then think about color. I just saw them as like literally gold and teal, And then, of course, you get older and then you go to FAM, and I remember like, oh man, they were Black, call me ignorant. I didn't know. But anyway, I can remember Dr. Baldwin talking about the Arabs coming over and, just the destruction of Black civilization. That was one of the mandated books we had to read in that class. And I can remember being all green, like, well, why did we let them do that? And it was something to the effect of, and, he kind of talked loud and raised his voice, because we were just nice people or whatever. So, and to this day, we as a culture are very nice and genuine and nurturing and caring. So that's my Dr. Baldwin story.
Yeah, I never had Dr. Baldwin, but I know of Dr. Baldwin because he was the curator of the Black Archives Center up on campus and the Florida Archives Center. And I remember we used to have to go up there. And I remember he had an actual Ku Klux Klan costume. He had a collection of mammies, Aunt Jemimas, and Sambo figures. and just a very introspective individual. I can't remember my professor's name, and she was a woman, very very nice woman. I think her first name was Deborah. I can't remember her full name. Very attractive. And the reason I remember this woman, not only because she was a good professor, but it was around the time of the Clarence Thomas Anita Hill controversy, and a lot of people in the class were saying that the lady looked like Anita Hill. You know, she was very attractive. She did look like this lady favored Anita Hill. But Dr. Baldwin was definitely one of my mentors. I never had his class, but I just was always in his little informationals he would have at the Florida Archive Center, you know, things of that nature. Now, you went SBI at one point?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No SBI, but I was in SGA, so I got to wear suits in SGA. Got to wear my pantsuits, my blazers, my skirts. So,
okay, wrong acronym. SGA, not SBI.
Yeah.
Did you know Erica Morris?
I recognize the name. I was in Senate, and I believe she was in a different branch.
Right. Yeah, that's my cousin, my first cousin on my dad's side. She's now Erica Morris Long. She works for the Atlanta School Board now. That's my cousin.
Okay.
So I tell Richie that our cousins were in student government together. All right. So tell me a little bit about Empowerment Resources Incorporated.
Yeah, so Empowerment Resources is what I call a grassroots nonprofit in Jacksonville, Florida. Our mission is to empower youth and families, and we do so, as I mentioned before, with 3 programs. So we have the girls program called Journey into Womanhood, and leadership development program for girls 3rd through 12th grade. We also teach life skills. You know, in the typical school day, students may not get core life skills they need, like conflict resolution, decision making, and goal setting. And then lastly, we believe in servicing the whole family. So with that, we have a parenting education program. The foundation of this is all things nurturing. What does it take to be a nurturing individual? What does it take to be a nurturing parent? And how do we transfer that over to our babies? So those are our 3 programs and what we do.
That is interesting. As I mentioned earlier, it is Daughter Appreciation Weekend or Daughter Appreciation Day, National Daughter Day, or whatever you want to call it. But also, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, which I'm ashamed to say is the strip club capital of the world. And so, you know, with the strip club culture, there's also a lot of what am I looking for? Trafficking, right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially with young black women, and I'm very ashamed of that. But I'm glad that the universe got us together, you know, because your program sounds like a great thing. You know, I want to hear a lot more about. How long have you been around? How long has ERI been around?
Yeah, so 18 years now. 18 years, and it goes by so fast, as you know, when you're dedicated and loyal, you know, to the mission, or you're passionate. It doesn't feel like work to me. I truly enjoy what I do. We serve a small quantity of girls, but I would say the quality of the end result and the product is phenomenal.
When you started this, correct?
Yeah, so I started the nonprofit. I had worked in nonprofit. I had worked at group homes. Ironically, I had worked with boys, and I love working with males. And then when I moved to Jacksonville, I saw a need in the community, and a friend of mine that actually went to FAMU as well, she had put together the core outline of JIW, asked me to take a look. What did I think? And I'm like, this is really good. Around that same time, I moved, so I don't have it close to me, but I still have this black and white composition book where I was, at the time, didn't realize it, pretty much writing out my business plan. And I knew I wanted to do some work with youth and ultimately with families. So anyway, I I gave her some feedback, and then I said, this sounds really good. Can I maybe do a test run here in Jacksonville? So I did, and didn't have any money, just had my own personal money with my husband, and, got a couple of supplies and kind of Googled different little things. I don't even think we really had Google back then. No, we didn't have Google. I think I was in some books, and just put together the program as far as launching it here. And I can remember the very first meeting being so nervous, not knowing if anybody was going to show up. And this was back in a day where my husband and I had a box of thumbtacks and went to, Kinko's back in the day, made some color copies at 52 cents. And we're putting up flyers in the neighborhood. And remember, you would have to cut the little slit and you would hope that somebody would rip it off and call you. So that should age the program. But so we started the program. It started over the summer. It went really well. We had 15 people to show up the next meeting. And then the following meeting, they brought friends. And we met for 10 weeks over the summer. And when it was over, the girls and the parents said, okay, now what? And I'm like, let's keep meeting. So I kind of did things backwards, and then I went ahead and learned what it took to become a 501c3 or a nonprofit organization.
Okay. Okay. So first you mentioned a friend helped you organize it from the ground up. Shout your friend out. Say her name.
Natasha Clayton.
Okay. She a rattler as well?
Another
rattler? Yeah. Okay. And then, even probably more important, shout out your husband, say his name, and
Jakey Moss, a grandfathered in rattler, because we're high school sweethearts, so he was up in Tallahassee visiting me at least monthly.
And tell where y'all from?
Sarasota.
Shouts out to my man Willie Jackson, former player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's from Sarasota too, and he played at Atlanta for a minute. Used to throw to Mike Vick. He's retired now, back in Duval, where you are. Okay, great. So this is dope. We're going to take a 5-minute break. When we come back, we're going to speak about more of your programs and kind of tell people how they can help you improve and maintain the thing you got going on, okay?
Okay, sounds like a plan.
When we come back.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
I'm attorney Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being heard.
Diamond Cut.
Six Degrees, we're back from break with Elexia Moss of ERI. What's going on? So, you stated you worked with young men in the beginning, and you have a daughter. What's your daughter's name?
Let's call her Little Zara. So she has her own little YouTube page and Instagram. So for social media purposes, she's it's Little Zara's Way. And she's very outspoken, very energetic, very bright, and I love her to pieces and full of character.
Cool. How old is she?
7, going on 17 some days.
Right. Hey, And like I told you, my daughter Serena is 12, going on 20.
These little people, I'm telling you, they come out like little adults. And, this is something we talk about in the parenting class. Like, you cannot parent the way you were parented. Like I say, and I know we're talking about girl power, but real quick, my parenting that we teach is at Empowerment Resources is my philosophy of new school parenting meets old school parenting. So I sprinkle a little bit of that old school, but you also got to bring in some new school. Like the kids now, you really can't tell them because I said so. They have so many questions, so I do try to meet her halfway.
Okay. Before the break, you were talking about how you started the company and there was no internet. So you and your husband and your friend had to start from the ground up. So I say that to say, do you have Hulu? This is crazy. Do you have Hulu TV?
I do not.
Okay, it's this great show called Woke. Have you heard about it?
I have not, but look, I have my list here of shows and books. So I'm ready to add it.
Woke, WOKE, like Stay Woke, on Hulu. And I brought it up and I thought about it because you were talking about how you and your husband and your other organizers had to use like the little strips on the flyers. Woke is an interesting documentary based on the real life of a guy named Keith, I think named Keith White or something like that. And the guy had his own comic strip called Bread and Toast, or Toast and Butter, right? And basically he was pitching it to a syndication company in Oakland, California. And they were predominantly white, and they like twisted his whole concept. His concept was just a regular cartoon. The guy was not really Afrocentric or anything like that. But then he was faced with racism. He got beat down by the cops. And let's just say the rest, he slowly started becoming woke, right? Started having knowledge of self. And I thought about the strips on the flyer because it's a part in the, I don't want to give it away, but in the series, he came up with this concept called Black People for Rent because after he got harassed by the cops and dropped by the syndication company, it was weird because his marker and his tablet would start talking to him and telling him that like he was selling out. You got to see it. But so he got fired from the syndication company. So after that, he needed money. So these white people that he knew in Oakland just randomly hired him to come to parties, right? To be that cool black guy at the party. So he's like, damn, I'm getting $400 just for being in this show, being only black face, right? So eventually he came up with this thing called Black People for Rent. And it started out just being like a comic book, cartoon type flyer. But then he changed it into an even greater concept to bring home a lot of hhis points. So yeah, definitely check out Woke on Hulu. But I got off the subject and I thought about it because you were saying the little strips where you call that, you and your husband were using. So how can people support ERI?
Gus, I'm so glad you asked that. So for us, again, because we are grassroots, it's all about most often word of mouth, just how you heard about us, right? So I always encourage people, if you like what you see or hear about us, please share that information. Especially now with COVID, we've had the opportunity to pivot more into the virtual space, and it's been really, really good for us, right? So, we're on social media, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we have a website. Share the work that we're doing with your contacts. The other great thing is because we're in this virtual space, if your family needs support, if you need some parenting education, if you have a girl 3rd through 12th grade that you want to help cultivate with her journey into womanhood, send her our way. Girls don't have to live in Jacksonville or what we call the First Coast anymore. Because we are in this virtual space, we are opening up for the first time. We are so excited to serve girls from across the U.S. and beyond. If you have a minute, I'll tell you more about that and how that looks. We also have a YouTube page, and we're doing more with that. But we have some like free parenting tips and workshops and We've recorded some of our meetings. Same with the life skills for both male and female teams. We had a really good dialogue this summer with the professor. And it's so funny, we talked about racism and prejudice and biases, especially with everything that's going on, right? Just trying to create a space for our teams. But the funny part for me is really more interesting than funny. I had my FAMU hat on because I thought about another great professor at FAMU, Dr. Yvonne Bell. And this is another name you probably know, Gus, but she taught prejudice and racism. That was the name of the class, one of the best classes I ever took. But I, during this time, reflected back on that class and shared. So at any rate, again, these are just free resources that we have out there to the greater community. So again, people can share, they can see the work that we're doing, they can get engaged in the work that we're doing, they can volunteer. Again, Gus might say, you know what, hey, I want to volunteer and be on your marketing and communications committee. We are a majority volunteer-run organization. What I didn't tell you is we're a staff of like 3.5. So we are a skeleton crew, and everybody else are volunteers, including the people that help with our marketing and communication. So we need people in that aspect. And if you don't have time, you don't think you have talent, although everybody does, we will gladly take your treasures. Money. We laugh, but $25 goes a long way with our organization. When we're brick and mortar, we give the girls a healthy lunch and a snack. $25 will feed 5 girls on a Saturday. Right now, we're putting together care packages for the girls. We're calling them Empower Her boxes because we're in this virtual space. So again, contributing $50 will go a long ways. That'll help build a box for a girl. Contributing $100 would maybe sponsor a family to go through a parenting enrichment program of ours. So various ways that people can donate and get engaged.
Okay. In the beginning, you said you were working, when you started the nonprofit, you were working more with young men. What kind of led you more to working with the women? And would there be a way, would you kind of have the men and women being, intertwined and connected through the program? Because these are great programs. And, like I told you earlier, I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi. And I really don't like the fact that a lot of times when we're, just brainstorming, they're like, well, we need to do more things for young black men because they're often overlooked. But I think it's a two-way street because, it would be no trafficking if these young men that were misinformed and ignorant were not doing this. You know what I mean? You think it's any way you're going to streamline the empowerment for the men and the women?
Yeah, great question. So we actually have a draft of a male rite of passage program that we're hopeful to launch soon. We need the right partners in place. Again, our organization does not just serve females. We don't just have females that work and volunteer with us, but we would love to have a network of men to support this and collaborate. And then we need the right funding as well for this pilot project. So again, we have the outline. It would model very closely to the Journey into Womanhood program, which is what we call JIW. So we had the counterpart for the males, and we did some research. I would say we have 12 vital aspects in the girls program. The male component is going to have 12 vital aspects, and they look slightly different. There's some that overlap. As we know, gender responsive curriculum and training is really important. The needs of a male is not the same as the needs of a female. So there are some differences there. So if the national Omegas want to come on board with empowerment resources or the regional, let me know. We are definitely looking for community partners and support, and we are eager to launch this program now more than ever.
Okay, yeah, coming on board. This is our first step because I have a lot of viewers, and not just in the Divine Nine. And so this is a step. I'm going to challenge a lot of my Omega brothers and my Delta Sigma Theta sisters and just my black brothers and sisters in general to to definitely contribute and participate in some of your nonprofits programs. It sounds great.
The thing, Gus, if I can just add really quick, there's enough work to be done. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's a lot of youth out here, right? So this notion of, we're all competing for the same kids, let me tell you, if that were the case, we wouldn't have any of the issues, crimes, at-risk behaviors that we're having. So there's still a need out there, right? And there's still enough to go around. A lot of the time the issue is money, the financial resources, or the people. And like when I tell people about empowerment resources, if you have 1 hour a month to donate, that hour goes so far with our organization. If you got $25 to donate, I just gave you a couple of examples of how we can spread that $25, because see, we're not over here working and volunteering because, we're trying to get the blah, blah, blah award. We're doing this because we see the need and there's passion. Our volunteers, most of them stay with us a minimum of 5 years. Most of the girls stay with us a minimum of 5 years. 75% of the girls that graduate from our program come back to donate time, talent, or their money. So to me, that speaks volumes to what you're getting when you get connected to empowerment resources.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take our last break, about 5 minutes. When we come back, we already kind of talked about the COVID, but I want you to talk about, just the inner workings of your program and how they were changed as a result of this worldwide pandemic we're going on. All right? When we return.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being hurt.
It was a monumental game for A&M and Tampa. It was a monumental game. Somebody had to lose, and thank God it was them this time.
We knew it was going to be a battle. Look at Jake Gaither's record. 202 and 36, I think. Some off-the-wall figures.
Nobody would play him because they didn't want to take a chance of getting beat. But the truth of it is,
over 46,000 tickets. Blacks were sitting in the east stands. Whites were sitting in the west stands. And the score wound up 34-28.
The only thing we proved that we weren't inferior. We were not inferior, and we were not afraid.
For one night, for 160 minutes, we were better than them.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
Diamond Cut.
Six Degrees on 6 Degrees and Beyond. I'm here with my cousin Elexia Coleman-Moss from Empowerment Resources Incorporated. She's the executive director. And so as we were speaking before the break, we know that COVID-19 has just made everything so different. I'm a college professor at Clark Atlanta University and at Herzing University in Atlanta. And I'm teaching 5 classes from my dining room right where I am right now, which is also my 6 Degrees and Beyond studio. So, you know, what are some things that have changed with ERI post-pandemic?
Yeah, again, you know, trying to keep everybody safe. So in this virtual space as well. And like I said, it's been pretty good. It's been bittersweet. Our girls and even our volunteers, we miss that engagement because we're very nurturing, you know, just as human beings. But I keep saying we made lemonade out of lemons, right? So we're, like everybody, doing the best we can with what we have. So definitely trying to make our workshops more interactive. Even our last parenting workshop that we had on Thursday, we do like these corny icebreakers with adults. And I think people appreciate it. You know, we encourage people, hey, you've been sitting in your seat all day, get up, let's take a stretch break. Again, just making the most out of it. With the girls program, so we, in March, like everybody else, we try not to miss a beat. So we quickly acquired a platform to be in this virtual space, and we did not miss a meeting. We kept it going. Same with our volunteers. And, you know, there were some lessons along the way, but now since we have time, we've had time to plan, and we know we're still going to unfortunately be in this virtual space. That's why we're putting together those Empower Her kits, right? Where we're going to, you know, for example, if we're having a lesson plan on gardening, which we did in COVID, we had the lesson plan, you know, now we're teaching core skills like gardening and how to make a mask, right? So now we're going to put those tools in the kit, and then the girl is going to be able to do more hands-on instead of just watching so-and-so teach the lesson plan. So there's that. Donations, they've been, you know, ebb and flow, and that's okay. We're still here. We're still surviving. So again, just trying to get the information out there. But that's how we've embraced COVID. We actually have been blessed to receive 2 small grants related to, you know, hey, has your nonprofit been impacted by COVID? What are some things that happen, and what can we do to support? So we have been blessed so far with 2 small grants to support us through this pandemic.
Before the COVID hit or whatever, you know, when things were in the old normal, I guess I should say, what were some of the field trips that you would take the young people on?
Yeah, so we've done events such or trips such as one that I really enjoyed, and the girls did too. We went to a place here in Jacksonville called Coleman, and they make products such as Revlon, Cream of Nature, Lotta Body, Revlon makeup. And this was a STEM, for those who don't know what STEM is, science, technology, engineering, math, but this was a STEM field trip. And the girls got to understand, you know, all of the chemistry and the math that goes behind that. Another cool STEM trip we did, the girls were able to learn how to make perfumes and fragrances. And we've done the low-key, let's just hang out at places like Main Event or Dave & Buster's. So, of course, we've attended some Jacksonville Jaguar football games. The Jaguar Foundation here in Jacksonville, they have a really great program called the Jacksonville Honor Rose Program. And this is a grant opportunity where they give seats to youth that meet a criteria. We've been a part of that program since we've been around. And then there's another level where youth can receive a scholarship. And I'm proud to say we've had 5 girls to receive a scholarship from the Jaguar Foundation. So everything from sports to having fun to STEM is what we do in empowerment on these trips, and college tours too.
Great. I don't know if I told you, but Jericho Broadcaster, we're the Black College Sports Network. So once the COVID subsides, or maybe during the COVID, if we can have some social distance friendly events, I'm going to try to help put together one of our sponsors at Woodwater College out your way in Jacksonville. Might have some games. I might be able to get you some tickets to their game. They're one of our biggest sponsors with their athletic programs. Also, I wanted to have you ever had a chance to bring the young people to Atlanta, for a field trip?
Oh, yes. We had a chance to come to Atlanta. We visited, of course, Spelman, Clark, Emory, and I want to say we went to Georgia Tech. We've been to Savannah State, and we've been to SCAD as well.
Savannah College of Art and Design.
Yes. And all of those institutions I named, they've just been really good, and they all, offer something different and unique. So we've been to Florida A&M and FSU as well. We haven't been down south. Yet, as far as like the Miami-Dade area. So.
Got you. Yeah, I'm currently a professor at Clark Atlanta, and I have my master's and my doctorate, both from Clark Atlanta University. Got my master's in African American literature, my doctorate in humanities with an emphasis in hip hop literature and popular culture. In the future, moving forward, I would recommend, and I would be glad to help you put this together. I would recommend you guys take a trip to, when I say a trip to Wakanda, when I say Wakanda, I'm talking about Tyler Perry Studios, the largest studios in the country, that was formerly a Confederate base. Now it's owned by a black man, Tyler Perry. And I call it Wakanda because they filmed most of the green screen scenes there at the Tyler Perry Studios in Southwest Atlanta. On Black Panther, the movie, some of the other scenes were filmed at Atlanta too, like at the museum where Killmonger was at. That was the High Museum of Art in Atlanta. But, and also, they're remodeling the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Social Change. Had you been to there like before it was remodeled with the group?
Yeah, so gosh, it's probably been about 5 years since we've taken the girls on that trip, and we did go there as well, and we've been there twice as an organization, and I've been a couple of times, so we're overdue, so we got to get that way.
Yeah, they're I know the King family personally. My grandfather used to cut Dr. King's hair before the Civil Rights Movement, and then that's my dad's father, who I was named after, Deacon Augustus Jordan Sr. And then my mom's father, Reverend Homer Clyde McEwen Sr. Our church is very close to their church, and he was friends with the King family as well. I know they're doing, like I said, a lot of remodeling, so it's going to be totally different. Hopefully after the pandemic, there'll be a lot more great field trips the children can take, and I'd love to donate some money to make those things happen. And I'll definitely keep in touch with you and get with you on that.
Thank you. That would be great. And of course, we're all hoping and praying things will ease up and get back to a new norm, right? But something we are going to do is we also have heard, we like to hear from our families we serve, including the youth. And you have this group of like, man, I really want to get together, but I'm nervous, or my baby has this autoimmune disorder. I have an elder in the house, so we have to be careful. So, we want to respect those boundaries, but still get people what they need. And then we have those that are like, I really miss being together. I need that social interaction. I have, virtual fatigue. I don't want to be in this virtual space on Saturdays, which is when we meet with the girls, by the way. So what we're doing this semester, Gus, is, again, first time ever, we have a hybrid model where it's, you can stay in the virtual space, but every other month, if you want to opt into going to some social distancing, restrictive, really good safety protocol outings outside, then we're going to do that. We're going to try to make it educational, but also if it's, let's just get together and go look at the Christmas lights and have a good time walking, it's going to look different every other month, but we have a couple of things lined up. And obviously you'll have to live on the First Coast, Jacksonville area to be a part of that.
Okay. Shouts out to my stepmother, Barry Jordan. She's from Jacksonville. I think she went to Staten High School. And interesting fact, she also went to, I think, Robert E. Lee. She was one of the first black youths to help desegregate Robert E. Lee High School, which was all white at one time. And sometime, I guess, in the 60s, she helped desegregate Robert E. Lee.
Oh yeah, the culture of Jacksonville is really rich with history, and I continuously learn.
Have you seen the Cat Williams special where he was live from Jacksonville?
It's been a minute, so now you're going to have me go watch that too. Thank you.
It's on Netflix. Check it out on Netflix.
Got my watch list through this interview.
Word. Yep. Hey, I'm obviously a TV person. Like, for real. Like, but we're all TV people in this pandemic pretty much, right?
And it's some good shows, and now it's like, it's, Hulu, am I on Amazon TV, am I on YouTube? Yeah, so keep the list coming. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Anything you'd like to add before we go? Oh, definitely plug your websites.
Yeah, so thank you for that. It's the company name, Empowerment Resources Inc., inc.org. Again, empowermentresourcesinc.org. And on our website, you can find our links to social media. If you like what you're hearing and you still want to stay connected, I also encourage you to subscribe to our e-newsletter. And those come out once a month, Gus. And again, we're in this new phase, and there's opportunities for people to volunteer virtually as well.
One more thing before you go. This is great. ERI is great. I want to say that you own other franchises?
No, I do not. Nope.
No? Oh, okay. I was
No, I have other side hustles, but I don't own any franchise or anything like that.
What are some of your side hustles?
Let's see. So I help someone with grants, a little bit of grant writing and research. With the parenting, although I offer it for empowerment, I am trying to grow my own personal brand. I've worked at a college part-time. I'm no longer there, but I have in the past. That's it for now. Oh, and how could I forget? I do have a travel link through a family member that runs a travel agency, so you can book trips through me and I can be your travel consultant.
Okay. As soon as the COVID died out. Or
you know what? You can book travel now, because guess what? You might want to do a little bed and breakfast, 2 hours up the road. So it doesn't have to only be cruises or only be going to a resort. You might want to do a little getaway. So.
Yep. All right. Great. I think I need it. Anything you'd like to add before we conclude?
Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate the space. I look forward to continuing to learn from you and work with you. And do check us out, empowermentresourcesinc.org. We have the holidays coming up. We have some special things planned for the youth and the families we work with. So if you have a little bit of extra and you're willing to give, and don't forget, it not only does it make you feel good, it goes a long way, and it's a tax write-off. So empowermentresourcesinc.org.
Thanks so much. I'm definitely going to get Serena involved with the hybrid program you're telling me about. And I'm going to be in touch. At Jericho, we're going into phase 2, so we're going to be shooting sitcoms. We're not just going to have public affairs programs. We have things of that nature. So maybe once we have like tour programs or something like that, maybe when we back up to doing field trips, when this new normal is subsiding, maybe I can have some of the young people come check out some of our productions, our studios, and things of that nature.
Yeah, that would be really good. I think it's great how everyone is being innovative right now, and there's so many different opportunities out there. So yeah, I would love to do that.
Gotta be. Elexia, so glad I met you, and gotta meet you in person. Once everything gets back to normal, like I said, I have family, frat brothers in Jayville, in Duval, as they say. So I'm definitely keep your number on lock and check you out when I'm coming that way.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thanks again for having me, and thank you, viewers, for listening and checking us out.
No problem. Take care.
You too.
Peace.
Peace.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
I'm attorney Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
We are back. For the first time in 62 years, the Florida Memorial Lions will hit the gridiron, and their home games will be streamed by the Black College Sports Network at www.fmuathletics.com, www.mybcsn.net, and on the MyBCSN app, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Cover's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEOVERSVOICE.com. Cover's Voice, Cover's Voice, CoversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?